podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Daniel, another defeat away from home against a top side. I think Ten Hag's record against the top 10 away from home is something like 8 defeats now, and however many games it is, it's not good.
No, it isn't. I mean, Van Gaal was all right, though. So I think the fact that we lost this game is not massively related to the fact that we lost City a year ago, I don't think. So I'm not going to... I want to look at this game in the context of what happened in it and what's happened immediately before it and where we think we might go after it.
Yeah.
Rather than, we're reading all this shit about all these games that we keep losing. And I'm not saying it's not a problem that I trust these players to suddenly stop doing this. But when you look at this particular game, you can make a long fucking list of shit that contributed to us losing.
For sure.
And I don't think that our inability to go and play and see out these kind of games was that much to do with it. So, and I tell you, however bad you think you're feeling, and obviously there'll be quite a lot of poorly sentiments. I was watching the game and we're playing the last few minutes, and I've got the tennis on at the same time because I'm working on the tennis. And one of my mates who listens to the pod, Cal, is a tennis coach. And the lad that he coaches is playing he's a kid. He's playing in his first last 16 match in the US Open. He's playing in the doubles. And I just had this feeling, Calves are red. And I just was like, oh my God, what happens? It's gone to a super tiebreak in the third set. What happens if they lose the tiebreak and we fuck this up? And both of those things happen. So Calv, if you're listening, I love you, man.
Sorry.
and everyone else, however bad you're feeling, I promise you, Cal feels worse than you. So if there's some kind of solace you can take in that, then please do.
I mean, it is true that United shipping 6 at City and however many it was at Brentford and Brighton and so on has no relation to this game. It is just also true that there is a pattern. United are unable to control games late in the game away from home. And that did happen to some extent. Now, of course, this game was totally lost in the details. It was lost because Garnacho's fingernail was offside and Johnny Evans got blocked off and Onana didn't get across his goal quick enough and nobody picked Martin Odegaard up. And no, those are the important details that will win or lose you games, of course. But Arsenal built up a head of steam because United could control the ball in the centre of the park.
Yes, although I think if you look at the players that were missing by the time this happened, I felt like in sort of before about 80 minutes, even before Garnacho scored, I thought we were probably more likely to pinch it. But I think we would have all taken a point, much as we wouldn't really want to admit to ourselves. We'd probably have taken a point before this. But once you've got Maguire and Evans, your centre-backs, and you've lost Lindelof, Martinez, Varane, and even Shaw, who would have played who can play in the back four, and Malacia, then it's not that surprising that what happened. I mean, start from the beginning, I guess. It felt, like sometimes it feels a bit early in the year for these kind of games. It's not meant to be sunny when United go away to Arsenal. And I remember it reminded me just before the game. Do you remember the one under Van Gaal? When we go there, I think Blind is one of the centre-backs and some other slow bastard is the other one. 3-0 down after about 10 minutes. It sort of reminded me, just the feeling before the game reminded me a bit of that one. Looking at the team, I don't know, did Ten Hag say anything? I missed his interview about Højlund because I didn't...
Before the game or after the game?
Either or, just because it felt to me like if he's fit to play an hour, then I said this the other day, you start him and see what happens.
Yeah. Because he did cause havoc when he came on,
Oh my God. A centre forward.
I know. Big bastard. Someone number 9.
Runs and holds it up and gets physical with defenders. It's just, I was watching it thinking, what the fuck is this?
Magic, yeah. For sure, it caused so many problems. And Martial, although Ten Hag praised Martial after the game, I was just like, I don't buy that. I don't buy it at all. I mean, he's half a yard, more than half a yard slower than he used to be. I know that's not actually a measure of speed, except in football. It's like a parsec in Star Wars, isn't it? You know, it's all wrong.
Time is measured in minutes and characteristics are measured in profiles and all the rest of it.
So he's just not sharp anymore, Martial. He's not the player he once was. It hasn't been for many, many years. And having a real number 9 there is going to make such a difference. And he caused havoc when he came on. The fact that he could hold the ball up, the fact that he's quick and he can go in behind, that suddenly a defender has to think about 2 more problems than they had to think about with Martial on the pitch. And that'll be great. It's just it wasn't enough today, because by the time he was on, Casemiro and Eriksen were absolutely treading water. I thought United go direct at the end, and they probably should have done. And instead of actually trying to play the ball through midfield where they kept losing it, just pump it over the top. And there's nothing wrong with doing that when the game demands it. And instead, we try to play from the back still with Maguire and Evans in there, through midfield and to the front. And it worked brilliantly for the goal, of course. The goal that was not a goal. Garnacho's non-goal. But yeah, it was just so much pressure. And with the defenders we had in there, I guess it was totally inevitable that we would concede that second at some point. Third doesn't count. Obviously, United throwing everyone forward.
I thought they got a bit lucky as well. Just the fact that Partey was injured probably helped them. That actually they had a back four. In that it's all very well playing in that particular way against some teams. If you want to leave Partey marking Rashford, all the best.
Yeah.
It felt like they got a bit lucky with that. It's one of the things about Arsenal that didn't exactly give me consolation, because they're not going to challenge City, but how good they think they are versus how good they actually are. The difference is fucking chasmic. And I was sort of thinking that at the end, like, Declan Rice, you think you're going to win the league, don't you? You do. No, mate, you're not. And
they're definitely buying into their own hype. Yeah. I mean, the way Arteta celebrated like it was a title win. I mean, I
talked about conquering his wife.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that guy is not conquering anything or anyone.
That was
3 feet tall in little trousers.
Tiny little balls. Yeah, they'd have to be getting to those. That was a response to a question about Kai Havertz, who said it took me a while to conquer my wife. I'm just going to put that down to bad English, although he's obviously been in the country.
I was wondering if there's a verb. In Spanish that means something similar. I don't know.
Might be. But, yeah.
But yeah.
No, I mean, for sure they were able to, because United don't press from the front. It doesn't matter. Ten Hag's been here a year and a bit now, and they've never done it. He keeps talking about it, but they never do it. So, and they can't with Martial there, because they only ever press with 2, and so it's easy to play around them. Because Arsenal could press United and United couldn't, they turned over the ball all of the time, and we're just under so much pressure. And that midfield, even if Kai Havertz is a weird fit in there, they still had a man more than us all the time, and sometimes 2, because Zinchenko inverts, obviously played sort of in that central area a lot of the time, which Dalot did on the other side, but to much less effect, I think.
It's on him though. He played well. I tell you, you laughed at me. I laughed at myself when I said that Saka coming in on his good side might be helpful, and I thought Saka wasn't really in the game. I thought that's probably Dalot's best game for United, actually.
He did fine defensively, yeah. Going forward, not much.
I think that also, though, watching the game, and it feels ill to say that I thought that was probably our best performance of the season in some ways. And you can see that when you add the players who aren't playing into that could be a good team. And it is frustrating that we managed to lose that, because I think what we talked about at the beginning of the season, I said what I was hoping for was just I hope that I didn't think we'd win the league. I didn't think we'd necessarily come very close to winning the league, but I hope we might be able to stay with the leaders for a bit.
That doesn't look like it. Well, we're 6 points off already, aren't we? So it's
we haven't and we won't. And it's kind of one of those things is just that is like despicable about supporting a football team is when you see your own team's failures and shortcomings giving the team that you're playing a proper kick up the arse. We did it. We gave it to Tottenham. Tottenham would not be where they are now if we hadn't just let them win that game. And we've just done it to Arsenal. At least there's something in it for us if Arsenal are good, in theory. But it just doesn't. Yeah, they're not going to be good enough. But it felt. I mean, we started quite shakily, but sort of after the first 20, I thought we played okay and played reasonably well in the second half. But are you worried about Casemiro?
Yeah, I think I'm very worried about him physically. He dies off in games. I mean, he's not had a good start to the season. He didn't have a good end to last season either after he came back. And physically, he looks well under par. I mean, a lot of them do. I mean, and I can't say for certain, but something feels off about pre-season. It was just such a weird pre-season. 8 games, 7 if you account for the fact that the Wrexham game was just the reserves, and so was the first one, really. But hardly any of them played many 90 minutes. Felt like
and
they
not
came
together
into,
either.
And or together, right? I mean, United would have made £40 million out of the summer. All these games, right? They make a lot of money in appearance fees from these games. That's why they do it. That's why they travel to 4 different countries or whatever it was to play these games. But it doesn't feel like they're well prepared. And I can't say for certain that is why United getting a load of injuries. But United getting a load of injuries. Shaw, Malacia, Mainu, Varane, all out for weeks.
Right, but Mainu's of the contact. That's not underplayed. Someone fell on him, and I think that Shaw's was related to the injury. Yeah, but with the injury that he had. But it's not even so. I wouldn't finger the injuries so much as the lack of fitness, which we're seeing now. How much better they were able to play today. But also, I know Mount's injured now. But if you signed a new player, why are you not playing him with the players that he's going to be playing as often as possible for as long as possible so that they can strike up an understanding? I mean, we keep talking about it. It was very weird. And obviously, so classic United to sign Glazer United anyway, to sign Amrabat, but too late for him to play in the game. Yeah. One of very few games for which you're really going to need him.
Right.
Unless he replaces Casemiro, which doesn't look too far-fetched, because we said about Casemiro blowing out his arse at the end of the game. He did fuck all in the first half as well today, really. So, I think...
Yeah. His best moment was when he grabbed Rasmus Højlund and gave him a good, come on. Love that. But, physically, he's fucked. I mean, and maybe he's just not fit and he needs some more games, but it doesn't look good, I have to say. And it's... We're not signing another £60 million midfielder in the winter window to replace him. So he's got to get fit and it's got to work. And there's no other option.
I mean, I think that physically, Amrabat... Sorry, I'm going to sit near the microphone again. Apologies, everyone. I think physically, Amrabat is more able to cover the width of the pitch than he
will
is.
do.
So probably you can get away with much more easily with Amrabat playing with Mount and Bruno. Otherwise, it's going to have to be, I think, in most games, two of Casemiro, Amrabat, and Mainu, depending on how all of them do. But it's just, there was that, it felt like I thought we defended the box quite well, even when we were under the cosh in the first half.
All those crosses that came in, defended them well, yeah.
And Wan-Bissaka's actually starting to get all right at defending the back post. He still doesn't offer much going forward, and on which point, I've seen Anthony getting slagged off online. And I might see this differently to other people. To me, in the first half, particularly in the first 30, the only way we could really get we could release some of the pressure was giving him the ball.
Yeah.
He always wants the ball. He's not scared to take it in any position. He can hold the ball. I want more goals. I want more assists. But let's see how he does with a centre forward, with a settled midfield of players, of whoever it is, whoever the first choice midfield comes to be, a midfield that allows us to dominate games and gets him on the ball more often. And I think we saw Ten Hag must have thought that as well, because he's usually the first one to go off, but he played almost the whole game. And actually, when he went off, I don't know if it was a coincidence, but it happened against Forest as well, which might have also had something to do with Bruno going on the right. We lost a bit of control of the game. So I do want better numbers for Anthony. we probably did overpay for him. But the idea that not enough goals and assists mean he's not contributing to the team is fucking rubbish. And also,
I agree.
If he had a better right back behind him as well, we'd also see more from him. So I thought today was an encouraging performance from him. I want to see more against the less good teams as well, where he should be scoring, he should be creating. But with a target now, I don't see any reason why we won't get better productivity out of him. It might not be enough.
Yeah.
But it should be better at least.
No, I agree. The ability to play the ball into him and it sticks and he carries it's really important. And I do think Ten Hag wants to play with a runner like Rashford and someone who offers a bit more control on the right, like Anthony. I'm not that worried about him. Of course, yeah, you're right. More productivity needed, but if the productivity can come from elsewhere, that's okay. The team can carry it. I'm worried about other things much more than that. Worried about the number of injuries. Our ability after all these injuries, like Lindelof was ill apparently, so at least he's not injured. Lissandro Martinez has a foot injury. Rafael Varane is out for weeks, if not months. United's ability to play in the way that Ten Hag wants, building out from the back through midfield, is very, very much dependent on having these players in place. And if they're not, we're going to really struggle. So,
well, I think Martinez apparently is all right.
Okay.
Left like with no crutches, no booze. Apparently going to join up with Argentina. So I think the whatever the news that we've seen is that he's okay, and he's much more crucial to the build-up than Varane. Where Varane is helpful, particularly, is winning headers because we are a team of short asses. Reguilon is not going to do jack shit in the air when he plays. Amrabat's not great in the air either. Arsenal had a lot of corners today, and we defended almost all of them apart from the one at the end, which was a bit unfortunate the way the ball went in, but at the same time we've left a big fucker unmarked and
left him unmarked, and then Evans wasn't strong enough to get round the player who was holding him off. I mean, I've seen a few people say it was a foul. I don't think so. I don't think there's enough there for a foul. Evans just got to push the fucker out of the way and get to it. He just wasn't quick enough. He's a 35-year-old that played in a relegation team last season. I mean, he's an emergency signing or something. I don't know.
I mean, the problem with the defenders ultimately is we did try to sell Maguire. He wouldn't go, but I don't think that line of argument stops there because we could have paid him and he would have gone.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you might say, well, we've got an FFP situation, but then similarly you might say the owners could easily resolve that, but they won't.
Well, you don't have an FFP situation if you sell the player, even if you have to pay him off. So, it's
the amount of money that they is it not? Sorry, is it not the case that you could give it up? The amount of money that we needed to get a replacement in for Maguire meant that he had to be sold for a certain amount, and if we paid him off, that cuts into what we can then go and spend.
That's all true. Yes. So if you wanted to sign a replacement that wasn't a loan or something like that, they at a reasonable fee, yes. I mean, United would have got the fee and got his wages off the books and got the FFP charge off the books as well for this year coming, not last year. And so it may be last year that's the before June the 1st that was the real problem. I'm not sure, although the way they behaved late in the window suggested it was also this year that's the problem. But you get a double saving, obviously, with the wages and the amortization charge. But the numbers didn't add up. They've kept him. It doesn't look awesome to keep a player for 5 games a year, but hey.
It does not look awesome. No one's ever accused Harrods Maguire of looking awesome.
No,
just the state of his barnet when he came on, even that was just like, he's just like that lummox at school. He's a bit unclean. His shirts are always crumpled. Like, just that kind of individual. And, I mean, we didn't lose that game because of him. But, again, Maguire's still being at United. It's a Glazer situation because almost any other owner in the league would have said, here's 10 million quid or whatever it needs to be. Get rid of him and go and get your player. And the Glazers did not say that. And what's mad is we've seen the players that we've bought over the last 2 summers. Most of them are good players who get us there. And then you still think about what we still need. And it's a fucking lot.
Feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah,
At least one more. We need another midfield player. Yeah. Even if we keep Amrabat, maybe one more. We need we absolutely must have a striker, another striker.
Another one. Yeah.
A right back and a centre back. And in terms of centre back, we probably need two in the end. We need Varane's replacement, then we need a new third choice because Lindelof and Maguire are wank.
Yeah. It is a hard one when you look at £400 million spent under Ten Hag and you go, well, probably need to spend that again in order to get anywhere near challenging for a title. And probably that doesn't happen because the Glazers have not once put equity in. They have actually paid down some of the credit cards. So I think when we see the latest financial results, that revolving credit facility will not be as high as it once was. Hoo-hoo! Yeah. But we don't have the players to challenge. Yeah. I know, it's awesome, isn't it?
That we've got to talk about revolving credit facility on a football podcast is an absolute state of affairs.
Oh, well, look let's think about the things that we have to talk about on this podcast these days. Apart from the game, we've got to talk about debt and finances. We've got to talk about geopolitics. We've got to talk about what consent means and whether it's all right to beat your girlfriend up, So
it's just on which point, I mean, I would not have taken that number 11 shirt if I was Hoyland, I don't think.
Interesting choice, yeah. And maybe he wasn't given a choice and it was just given a number, yeah.
Well, no, because it felt like they waited to give him the number till the Greenwood thing was resolved. And I mean, obviously before Greenwood, it was Martial, but before that it was Giggs.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe just retire that one, lads.
All right, so let's talk about a few moments of controversy. The Garnacho one, Ten Hag said after the game that they used the wrong angle and he wasn't offside. I haven't seen another angle that would suggest that. I mean, it's so marginal anyway, it's ridiculous, but I haven't seen another angle that would counteract the VAR. So,
I mean, I think that once you say we can judge this exactly, when it's tight, the margin is always going to be ridiculous because shit's close.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with the margin being ridiculous because if you know, let's assume for a second that it's a fact that it was offside. I don't think it was, but let's say it was. Then it doesn't matter what the margin is because it's a margin. So even if you had a buffer, right, why would you do that if you knew that you were allowing something that was offside to be onside? And also, if you had a buffer, it would still come down to the margin of the buffer that could be marginal. So I don't
again,
mind that.
It's still binary, isn't it? So
yeah, and it's still tiny.
Yeah,
if it's close. So, but what I do wonder is the technology able to pinpoint exactly when the ball departed contact with foot?
Well, that's what the automated offside is supposed to do, and
which
the Premier League
decided no to.
They said no to it, and they're still hand drawing these lines based on whatever frame they think is best and whatever angle they think is best. And we get ones like those. It clearly changed the game. We went from a huge high to a low, and Arsenal putting us under pressure, like in moments. So for sure, there's a marginal call.
What we should say though is it was a brilliant finish, and when he runs through. He's going to score.
No doubt. I knew
he was going to score because my mate Biko messaged me celebrations before they actually happened. So I'm probably not the best person to judge that level of certainty. But yeah, it was because you could see like he runs through. He's so composed. He looks at the keeper. His eyes. He does him with the eyes. The keeper thinks he's going the other way. And it was a really good finish. And his composure in those situations is better than possibly everyone else who plays for us.
Yeah, I think so. The other controversial call Ten Hag called out was he said there was a foul on Hoyland I guess that's the one where he's sort of turning and backing in. Don't know. It didn't seem
and that's
like
one
it to me.
That's not enough. If they looked at VAR, even if they'd be given that on the pitch, I'm not sure you're getting that. In the same way that when the penalty that they had chalked off, when I saw it, like in a replay, I thought, well, that's not a penalty. I didn't think they'd overturn it. But then the more times you watch it, the more you think there's no foul here.
I mean, it definitely wasn't a foul. He's moved his leg. The left leg moves out in order to catch the player, which, of course, strikers have been doing forever. I was surprised they overturned it only because I didn't think the VAR would go, okay, that's reached the high enough threshold. I mean, inevitably, once they send the referee to the screen, that's pretty much the signal that it's going to get changed.
But that one, I mean, I think once he's seen it, you can't persuade yourself that that's a foul.
No,
it just because it is even though it looks like it's almost a foul, and you watch it in real time and you think it's probably a foul. When you actually see what happens, you cannot convince yourself it's a foul, and therefore it satisfies that high standard of clear and obvious, because it is obvious that it is not a foul.
Yeah. I don't think Ten Hag mentioned anything about the. I mean, it's almost impossible to decipher what he was saying. I think he was a little emotional. And so he was rolling the Højlund, the offside, and the Johnny Evans thing all into one. And I wasn't quite sure what he was actually talking about. So I don't know whether he was calling that a foul as well on Johnny Evans, but he mentioned it.
I think, it's sort of like if you add them all together, then we should have got one of those decisions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he was wearing a cardigan again when he said it. It's just, don't do that.
Crime. All right. Well, look, it's fucking disappointing, and especially with United away at Brighton next. It's going to be. I mean, United are always one game away from a crisis, but lose to Brighton, and there's every chance that will happen because Brighton are playing really well at the moment. Then there really will be a crisis, and the pressure will be on, and it should be as well, because this is now very much Ten Hag's team. Even if he's been left short, even if the deal should have all been done earlier, even if they shouldn't have done the trolley dash on the last day again. It's very much his team, so pressure now. Got to deliver.
It is annoying that we have a difficult game next. It has to be said. That is because we just a nice, easy home game is really what you want. Like get Højlund the goal, that kind of thing. But you can putting Højlund in that team just makes
such a difference. Yeah.
And so,
it is. I mean, just him backing into players, holding the ball up, it not just bouncing off them, running
channels, man.
Running channels. He's so direct. He's a big fucking bastard as well. Just all of that. Love it. Brilliant.
And when he was asked,
get him in the team.
Yeah, when he was asked what he'd bring to United, he said hard work and willing to die for the game, sure, whatever he said, like words to that effect. And it's like, that's sort of the answer I wanted to hear, because the talent either is or isn't. And whatever he says about it is not going to make any difference to it. But what is going to make a difference to it are those two things.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to do what you've got to do? And it feels like he is.
Yeah. Well, Ten Hag had questioned the players' attitude after earlier this season. I don't know whether that's it or not. It shouldn't be. It felt more like a lack of fitness, but he questioned their attitude. Don't think you can question Højlund's attitude in that 20 minutes he got. He looked good. He looked hungry. He looked hard. He's going to work hard, and he'll go away to international break now.
Like Mr. Logic from Viz.
Yeah, he really does. Terrible haircut, honestly. It's just so bad. But he'll go away, get some minutes for Denmark, come back fit, I hope. I'm so touch wood, touch everything that he doesn't get injured again.
He hopefully plays for Denmark. He could really do with it. Getting some foot. On which point, did you see what Ten Hag said about Sancho?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. He said he wasn't included on the basis of his training performances. You have to give it all of the time. And then Sancho posted. Did you read what Sancho's posted in response?
No.
So this is him on Twitter. I'm assuming I haven't. This is his, real account, not fake. Please don't believe everything you read. I will not allow people saying things that are completely untrue. I conducted myself in training very well this week. I believe there are other reasons for this matter that I won't go into. I've been a scapegoat for a long time, which isn't fair. All I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to the team. I respect all the decisions that are made by the coaching staff. Doesn't sound like he does. I play with fantastic players and I'm grateful to do so, which I know every week is a challenge. I'll continue to fight for this badge no matter what. This is a fucking mess, this is. A few people had dropped me a message saying they were trying to sell him in the summer and they were looking at alternatives. So
I'm absolutely sure that they would have taken an offer for him. I think that with reluctance, because he's got ability, and Ten Hag likes the ability that he has, but the fact that he didn't pick him, even when we didn't have a centre forward, so we had to play Rashford in the middle, and he played more than anyone in pre-season and played quite well, tells you that ultimately the manager doesn't fancy him. And what he said here is either the beginning of him trying to get rid of him or like a last resort, given that we know that Sancho had struggles last season, and on the face of what we saw from the outside, Ten Hag was treated him with sympathy and empathy and looked after him.
Gave him 3 months off to go and get fit, get his head right, whatever the problem is.
And it felt like this sort of a last resort. You're not in the team, but the problem with Sancho is similar to the problem with Maguire. Ultimately,
massive
there might
wages,
be some takers,
massive fees.
Who's paying you $350 a week or whatever it is? I don't know.
I mean, you get screwed 3 times when you pay a mega fee and mega wages, and it's not the right player because it's everything you outlaid, it's everything you need in order to get back your FFP costs, and it's the wages you can't get off the books. So
and the shite performances on the pitch.
And the shite performances. So and that's when, of course, when it works out, it's fine. It doesn't matter what you pay and what you pay the players, basically, although Dave obviously skewed things for a while. But when it doesn't work out, you are absolutely burdened. And United are still paying the price for the Ed Woodward era. And to some extent, the Arnold Murtaugh era as well. I mean, the fact that... I guess Anthony won't be on like 300k a week, but the fact that United paid £90 million for him sets the benchmark. Other teams, probably Atlanta, not Atlanta, were looking at that this summer when United were negotiating for Højlund. So
I think that's part of it, but also desperation stinks. And that's another part of it. They can smell it. But also, if you've got clubs that want to keep these players and don't need to sell them, then that will also have an impact on the price. It's different in that.
Atalanta are always going to sell, of course, but
but what I'm saying, they know they could, if they keep Højlund for another year and have another year of him, he's probably worth more. And probably for more. So unless he has a career-ending or threatening injury, they don't have to, unless financially they're pressed, they don't have to sell him. And also, if they think that he's United's only real choice, they think they're getting a blue-chip striker, then that's what you got to pay. It's not, and the Højlund deal, because it's also a centre forward and they go for more money, it wasn't one of those that made me think, what on earth is going on? Which was what I thought when I saw that Cole Palmer deal.
Yeah.
And I thought, what on earth is that? And I saw Burnley paying £31.5 million for Ian Maatson.
Well,
were ones that really made me think, what on earth is going on? I understand nothing.
There's some... I mean, I'm guessing there's such a strong halo effect from the fact that at youth level, Chelsea and City have been excellent and United have not. So
shit stinks. Desperation.
United
slightly differently.
Yeah.
But desperate shit smells even worse than shit and desperation.
And, well, look, we talked on the last pod a lot about the transfer market stuff, did a wrap. The one deal we didn't get to, because it came after we recorded, was Mason Greenwood to Getafe on a loan. No loan fee, United paying almost all of his wages.
Get away, sounds like words he's heard before.
I mean, yeah. I just had one of those moments. I was like, "Oh, God's sake, football, man!" I mean, this is Getafe, who were like one of the first Spanish clubs to say that Rubiales had to go. They were one of the first to speak out in support of Jenny Hermoso, and then they've signed Mason Greenwood. I don't know how to square that circle. Obviously, football has a way of pointing out which people are of value and which are not, and they made it really clear there. And then the other thing that I started to think when I saw it go through is you clearly couldn't play for United because of the pushback from fans. But the fact that he's now going abroad with his wife and new baby, the complainant, the victim, alleged victim, and she's going to be away from her family and support structures with a potential abuser, I was like, Christ almighty. I hope she's all right.
Grim. Yeah, it's grim. But even now, I guess I'm prepared. I said I wouldn't talk about this shit when there's a possibility he might play for us. But I also just don't understand why Ten Hag is willing to make himself such a prick for someone who hasn't played in so long, who's shown no inclination to play in the kind of manner that Ten Hag wants. But Mason Greenwood pressing just sounds unlikely. And I don't know. It just, the whole thing is appalling. And that's even, I mean, and we've still got Anthony playing for us, who's also been accused of some behaviour.
Yeah. There was a report in a newspaper a couple of weeks ago saying there would be a formal complaint made to the police in England, which hasn't happened so far, and that they were putting together some kind of dossier, which doesn't seem like it's been sent or not. So it's really hard to say anything about that one. All we've had are reports in the newspaper abroad, and no actual police complaint yet. So, like, who knows what is going on with that one? But none of it's good luck, is it?
No, it is not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where we go from this, but I mean, I think what it comes down to is and obviously we don't know exactly what's happened with Anthony, so I'm not going to prejudge that. But again, we've talked about this before, that our starting position as human beings is to believe women, in the same way that, but just human decency. I think that human decency, allied to the fact that the evidence tells us that there are far more rapes and sexual assaults that happen that are not convicted upon than there are women who make this up by many orders,
hundred to one.
And I'm not into, exactly. And I'm not into this, well, now I've got a daughter or my mum's a woman and therefore, but if your wife, your daughter, your sister, your mum came to you and said, this happened to me, no, it didn't, would not be what you said. So when someone else's wife, daughter, mother, whatever, comes and says that, to say, no, it didn't, just because the person accused happens to play for your bestest ever football team, makes you a prick.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Yeah. All right. What haven't we covered? Game, transfers.
Are we going to do Reguilon, Amrabat, and Champions League in backers?
Well, Reguilon and Amrabat we talked a little bit about on the midweek show. Tom and I did the wrap, but I couldn't help but laugh today. United had, you know how every player signing's a marketing opportunity, but yeah, they've got a box on manunited.com saying get your Reguilon number 15 shirt here. I'm just wondering how many between 0 and 0 sales they get of that actual shirt, because I'm going to say it's going to be about 0. So.
There'll be some zany individual or something, but I mean Reguilon, he looked like a good player when we lost to Sevilla that time.
He looked like a good player when he was 20. Yeah. So
he can attack, but he's not great. He's not great at the back. So I don't know how that's going to go. Amrabat is one of those where it feels like if he makes us more solid. So let's say you play with him and Casemiro and Bruno. If you make this team solid, then with the players that are in front, you should score quite a lot of goals. And you should not concede. Yeah. You should not concede too many either. So I don't know if Amrabat's going to be someone who's good enough for us. But what I think he's good at is he's good at carrying the ball and he's good at passing
distribution.
The ball. And that should keep it down the other end.
Yeah. I don't hate this. I don't hate it. And also the fact that they've done this as a loan with an option, although they've probably spent about 10 million euros extra to do that. It's not horrendous. Just a few things that he's had no kind of career, really.
And no kind of... When was the last time he played a game since the Conference League final? How often has he played? So there's no reason... When's he going to be available? When's he available?
Yeah. No idea.
He's
not
been
on strike.
The Brighton game, is he?
No, he's not even been training. I don't know whether he's going away in Morocco or not, whether they've got some games, so it'd be very helpful if there were. So, yeah. Look it up, yeah. I mean, look, there are plenty of reservations about the player. I mean, the fact that he's really never played at any great level and the fact that he doesn't actually do a lot of defensive work, those are the reservations, I think, for me. But the fact that he can pass the ball, the fact that he does have legs and energy and he works hard, those are all great pluses. And the fact that United haven't dived into this with a mega contract and a mega fee, so we're not tied if it doesn't work.
I think that
those are all good things.
Yeah, we can't afford to waste money. We absolutely cannot afford to waste money on a player for next season on an option where we don't know. the way it's been structured means that he has to play well to stay.
Yeah.
Morocco are playing Burkina Faso on Tuesday, so I guess he'll play in that. And in terms of the defensive work, I know what you mean, but if he's helping you keep the ball down the other end, and he's good at fouling and getting booked as well, so he is doing a bit.
Yeah, a lot of yellows. Yeah.
I guess he's another one who, on the one hand, don't buy a player on the strength of the World Cup, but then on the other, Ten Hag knows him from Utrecht. So, which is, again, like, we're suspicious, obviously, but at the same time, he's not picking it. He's not buying him on the strength of the World Cup because he knows him. He knows what he can do.
Man, if Ten Hag gets sacked, United are absolutely fucked because the entire squad are built for him. But let's touch wood. Yeah,
but the hope with Ten Hag getting sacked now is that the next manager is going to want to play in a similar style, whereas previously we've gone from Moyes, who had set pieces, and to Van Gaal, who had sideways passes, to Mourinho, who just had I don't even know what, to Ole, who was counter-attack, to now someone who wants to play in the modern way. Presumably, presumably whoever comes next is going to be something like that, and he's going to, if Ten Hag gets sacked in the next 2 years, he's going to inherit some good players.
Okay, before we go, I guess we can't leave without talking about the takeover situation. Report in the Mail on Sunday from the business desk, not the sports desk, and also kind of backed up by some serious people there. The Glazers have decided not to sell. They're looking apparently now for 10 billion, which was the brand new number because it was 5 and then it was 6 and now it's 10 apparently. I don't know about the details there, but it's at least there's some credibility, a lot more credibility with this one than there was with Custis in the Sun saying the deal had been done and would be wrapped up. I didn't believe that for not a fucking microsecond. The Mail on Sunday one, I think, has got more credibility given who it's come from. Where do we go from here?
I'm just still thinking about that Sancho message. That Sancho tweet that I had. That guy's not playing for United. Like, to me, that's like, how are you now playing for United in the near future? I don't get it. When the manager looked after you, I guess Ten Hag could have lied about where he was, but it felt like, as I said, he said it because he felt that it had to be said, probably because Sancho, in his opinion, Sancho needed to kick up the arse. So for him then to go and say that the manager's a liar and that all I want to do is play football with a smile on my face and contribute to my team, I'm afraid that elite level sport, like, that's not enough. Play football. I mean, I know you want to play football with a smile on your face, like that's very loud and audible, but it's not about smiling.
No, it's not. You can smile and come in last.
I don't think I'm phrasing this well. It's ultimately about what you put out on the pitch, you're more absolutely entitled to want the things that you want. Yeah. But if all you want is to play football with a smile on your face and contribute, I'm afraid that at the very top level, elite sport is unforgiving and demanding, and that won't be enough. But
Pochettino used to say, I think it was him, that you're paid to train, not to play. And, I mean, Ten Hag is saying it in a different way. You've got... Yeah. Ten Hag is demanding elite performance every single training session because that provides elite performance on the pitch. And if he's not doing either, Sancho, then he's fucked. And to publicly call your manager a liar is...
I will continue to fight for this badge no matter what. I'm afraid continue...
It doesn't mean anything, does it? Yeah.
No, it is not. It doesn't. What does continue mean? It suggests a previous course of dealing. And look, like I really like Sancho as a player. Like the good bits of him. He seems like a good boy. I like him as a guy. And I feel for him for whatever he's gone through. But we have not seen him fighting for this badge. Sancho's someone, you bring him on, if you need a goal against an inferior team, you bring him on. But does anyone seriously think that bringing Sancho into that game makes any fucking difference to how the shit ends up?
No, I suppose there's one school of thought that you might be able to say, well, he's a good use of the ball, but it's not like...
No, he is.
Check it out.
He is, but in a game of that intensity, where is the course of dealing that tells us he would make a difference? I've not seen it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Well,
that's why
it's a horrendous mess, and it's come a day after the transfer window closed. Or 2 days.
And
as
it's just,
well.
I mean, I go totally, I guess, like, trying to see it from from his perspective, if he doesn't see it like that, I understand why he feels slighted by what the manager says. But it also feels like, given the fact that you work for this guy, and if you have a genuine desire to continue playing for United, the way to sort this out, I'm afraid, is not like that. Not to attract more aggravation. It's to go and knock on the door. And if you want to get in the manager's face in his office, then do that.
Yeah.
But to do it on Twitter like that, it just doesn't feel like the right way of going about things. And if he's done it himself, I think that is a poor decision. And if he's been advised to do it, I think he's been poorly advised. Unless his agent is already thinking, well, let's make his position untenable and get him out of there in January. Or if he's told his agent to do that, I don't know. But
you wouldn't do it now, though, the day after the window closed. I mean, I guess he could be sold to Saudi Arabia or Turkey.
I want there to be an answer to this that exonerates Sancho. I do, but I'm trying to conjugate one in my mind, and I'm struggling.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. Week and a bit away, or whatever. I'm right in saying it's the international break now, right? And Brighton's after that. Yeah. So interesting because he will not be going with the England squad. So he will be at Carrington with about 3 players and Ten Hag. There's going to be some interesting conversations happening, I imagine. What a mess. Let's hope Mount, Varane, Shaw, Mainu, Malacia. Who else is there? Martinez. All get themselves fit over the really well. I mean, obviously Shaw and Mainu are out basically till the new year. It sounds like Mount.
Really? Hang on. I thought Mainu was back in like next month.
I don't know. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, the United medical staff will know. Just one of the injury accounts said December, but
I thought Ten Hag said like not September, but after that. I mean,
yeah.
Fucking nuts that you can be out for that long because I'm falling on you from behind. But
freak.
Yeah, we're gonna. I guess we should. I'd still expect us to be okay for top 4, and if we get it together, we can. I still think we can be a threat in Europe.
All right. Talking of which, we're going to talk about Champions League in the backers content. Stay tuned for that. Backers patreon.com/NQAT pod if you want to support us. Everyone else, thank you very much for listening. Backers will also get the video version. I haven't done it for the last couple of weeks. Going to be super busy, but I will put this one up there. Thank you, everyone, and catch you soon.
Please.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.